this is Gold Leader. We're starting our attack run. The exhaust port is marked and locked in.
Welcome into a Sunday night Pop Blender Unfiltered. Once again, here we are, week after week, to enjoy hanging out for a little while, talking some shit, checking out some shows and some movies, sometimes a little politics, whatever's on my mind. That's what a Sunday night is for. Talk about what I want to talk about. Sometimes it's not the most popular subject, as we found out last week, but it's the subjects that I like to talk about, and hope you do like to talk about them too, and listen to me. I see some chats already. I had to start out with a little Gold Leader standing by because Green Leader was standing by, Green 2 standing by. Love it, baby. Anyway, so here we are. Happy May the 4th be with you today. I got that a few times at work today. It's pretty cool, actually. Normies and nerds alike, actually. That was pretty cool. So, May the 4th be with you. Obviously, we are starting out the May the Power of the Force. Punk with Toys has gotten that thing started. I'll be having my video on the 14th of this month, and I am revealing to you, I will reveal to you who I am going to do right now for your viewing and listening pleasures. Let's see here. You may know this guy. You may know this guy. This is the guy that I'm doing. Anybody know his name? Does anybody know this guy's name by chance? Because this is the figure that I picked. And I'm going to have a little fun with it. After last year, doing the little intro with my son and the toy commercial thing. Seems to be an inspiring toy commercial, evidently, to kick off May the Power of the Force from last year, so I love it. But if anybody knows this guy's name, this is the guy that I am doing right here for May the Power of the Force. If you know him, put it in the chat. Yeah, C's Bagano was his cousin who was a mighty pirate. But Elon Bagano, the Death Sticks dealer on Coruscant, he was a rowdy son of a bitch, and actually changed his life. And I'll have a little lore to go along with that on the 14th as well. The post Death Sticks life of Elon Bagano, a before and after, if you will. Anyway, so tonight, I needed two things of coffee. Brothers and sisters, mostly brothers. Man, oh man, I have been having trouble sleeping. If you watched Thursday with a Friend, I did Thursday with a Friend with Punk, and on that Thursday with a Friend, I explained to him that I have bad hips, as the layman would call it, such as myself. And boy, oh boy, they are really bothering me. So I haven't been getting much sleep lately. It's been kind of a rough ride for the last couple months, and it's starting to catch up to me. So 2 things of coffee tonight is what I need. But enough about me. Let's talk about me. I'm kidding. Let's get into the chat, because you guys are here, man, hanging out as always. Much appreciated. Always appreciated that you guys want to hang out with me on a Sunday night for a little while, and obviously every other Wednesday with my cousin and myself. But Dreadnought K6 is here. It says stoked. We're gonna get into some Star Wars. Current Star Wars. I just finished watching Tales of the Underworld, which is the new animated Star Wars that came out on Disney Plus. It is in the style of the Clone Wars animation, but I gotta say, man, like, after several years, they have tightened up that animation unbelievably. It looks so freaking good. But I'll talk about that in a little while. But I enjoyed it. Dreadnought K6 is here. Graph. And that was at 8:31. So at 4:45, Dreadnought K6 says, I'm stoked. At 8:31, Graph says, I'm early. See you guys in an hour. So hopefully you slide back in here. 3-star draw. Green leader standing by. Crusty Old Crow, green 2, standing by. And Crusty Old Crow says Thunderbolts wasn't too bad. I'll give you my thoughts on that in a minute. Let's see here. Yeah, don't play too much of that Star Wars. They'll send their goons. You know, hopefully I didn't play more than like 8 or 9 seconds. You know, 8 or 9 seconds is about the limit. But the WWE, they don't play around. They don't mess around at all. That's for sure. Frank Duman, is here in the house. What's going on, Frank? Clint Jorgensen, somebody from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. No, Elin Sleazebagano. How did you not know? It's a character a lot of people probably forgot all about, and I can understand why. Menjoza's in the house. What's up, Menjoza? Good to see you, man. So here we are. People rolling in, rolling out. I don't know who else is streaming tonight. I know there's probably a couple other people that are doing some stuff, obviously. So I do have a little bit of toy news, a little bit. I'm not going to go deep dive in it because I think 3-star and Crow, I know Punk will probably get into it tomorrow night. But I do have a little bit of toy news, but I'm not going to go too crazy on that. But anyway, so I hope you guys had a great weekend. Tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo. I don't know if you have plans or not. I don't have any plans other than working, and I'm going to get my ass kicked tomorrow. That's for sure, without a doubt. It's going to be busy. Yeah, and not looking forward to it. Not with this bum hip, anyway. Viper Scout, too. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. So, anyway, we can kind of jump right into it, man. I don't have to mess around too much. Don't have to play around too much. I did have a lot of fun, and I'm going to let you guys know, 3-star, your video comes out tomorrow. And there it is, as I plan to release a long-ass hilarious video tomorrow. So your May the Power of the Force video comes out tomorrow. And I can't wait to see it. Definitely can't wait to see it. And you had Dexter Jetster, so I know you're going to do some pretty fun stuff with it. So you guys check that out tomorrow when it comes out. I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern, if I'm not mistaken, when it comes out. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, 3-star. But yeah, so May the Power of the Force. If you guys haven't got in on it, pick a figure, do a review. No big deal. Don't spend a lot of money. Just have a good time. It's fun. It was fun last year, and hopefully this is something that rolls on and on and on year after year after year. Crow did a great review on Sebulba and the Pod Racer, and there's a great review, but the funniest part of the review was with your son at the very beginning. And you know, thankfully, or you know, some of us, those words, I want to live with mom, for some people they ring true, unfortunately. But what a great what a great segment to start off that review. Yeah, 8 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so you don't have to wait all day. 3-star draws will be up at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. And after that, you can catch a rerun of Mork and Mindy and then Webster, only on ABC. All right, so I got a few bangers in here. Where do you guys want to go? Do you want to go Star Wars? Do you want to go random? You want to go random? Do you want to go Katy Perry? You guys want to go Katy Perry? I'm open for suggestions, my friends. I say we go Katy Perry. I'm sure you have seen the videos. I'm sure you have seen the Instagram videos, but I've got a couple for your viewing pleasure. Now, I'm not going to play the music because heaven forbid that we play the music. Last thing I want to do is get struck down. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, check out these fire dance moves from one Katy Perry. I mean, look, the outfit, okay. The dance moves, YMCA. Oh, wait a minute, 1980s. We're going clap. Oh, that's the Gator Chomp. Florida Gators. Oh, rocking the baby. Oh, shaking the ass. Okay. God, what a performer, ladies and gentlemen. What a performer. And then, how does she do it? How does she do it, folks? A talented woman who can dance like that and then get dropped on her ass. And then, oh, hang on. Did you see that sexy stripper get up, you know, when a stripper's on the ground on her back, like what she was just doing? Because, you know, young ladies need somebody to look up to. But here's this move again. Let's go right here. Oh, here we go. Such grace. Such skill. But wait, there's more. I give you Katy Perry Dance Moves Volume 2. Now, listen. Okay, fellas, I get it. You're going to like the outfit, all right? You're going to like the outfit. I like the outfit, okay? But, and I mean, when I say but, I mean literally but in this video. Here's some more amazing Katy Perry dance moves. Here we go. Fire it up. Oh, whoa. Look at that dancer. That guy, he's hip. He's got bleached blonde hair. He's a cool dude. Look at that strut. Look at that. Oh, wait a minute. It's time to get a three-point stance. She's about to block the defensive lineman coming in. Oh, wait, no, that's not what. I'm really trying to figure. What is this? This is sad. This is like, somebody said this is like 65-year-old Madonna. I've seen those videos, Clint. She does look like 65-year-old Madonna. The problem is she's like 34, 33. I mean, even at this age, Madonna was just ripping it up, okay? So Katie's been in the news lately, right? She's been in the news lately. Fighting the pipe. Whoa, hey, listen, 3-star. I can't show those videos. I can't show those fighting the pipe videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of stuff you find on OF. Yeah, we can't be showing that stuff now. If she had breakdance in Australia, she probably would have went into the Olympics. Yeah, you know, the outfit's not flattering, right? Todd C says, that's my outfit for the club. I'm with you, Todd C. Look, let me tell you, when I go to the club, Todd, first thing I do, I put my thongs on. But I wear my thongs backwards, y'all. That's the first thing I do. I agree with you, 3-star. Mila Jovovich version costume, much better. Yeah, this is... It reminds me when Britney Spears kind of had her issues and then kind of made a comeback. And it's like you're going through the motions as an entertainer. So if you're an entertainer of this scale, you can't go through the motions. Like, you've got to be all in. All in. And if you are going through the motions, people are going to call you out on it. And that's exactly what has been happening here on Instagram. People have been seeing it. And sharing it, obviously. Now you'll still see, as I was scrolling through that Instagram feed, you'll still see like a bunch of stans, you know. They're like, oh, she's slaying it, queen. You know, oh, Katy Perry got moves. They're like heaven. Like, are you 6 years old? I don't know. Like, but listen, poor Katie's been going through it, y'all. You know, she's an astronaut now. She's an astronaut. She's been to space. She's done something that you and I haven't done. Probably will never, ever do. We'll never be able to afford it anyway, even if it's commercial. But she's been to space. She's an astronaut. She trained for months on end to be in zero gravity. She trained to be able to sing a song to her fellow passengers. She trained to take video with her phone when she went into space. So she's an astronaut, so to speak. However, it says Katy Perry is admitted to feeling battered and bruised by backlash following her recent space trip, but reassured fans she is okay and would keep looking to the light. People that talk like that are in cults. Like, the light at the end of the tunnel is one thing. Okay, we've all looking to the light. I'm sorry. It says, writing 2 weeks after the much derided Blue Origin voyage, which saw her take an 11 minutes, folks. Now, here's the deal. I've been on this stream for 18 minutes. She took an 11-minute flight. So think about that. As long as I've been on this stream, I have almost doubled up the amount of time of the flight that she was in with 5 other women. But she says that the world made her a human piñata. Her comments came after fans paid for a billboard in New York to show their support for her ahead of her tour. Obviously, the tour, you can see her dancing like what we just saw. Said she responded to her fans. She's so grateful in this beautiful and wild journey together. Okay, fine. That you know, I'm okay with that. I love this picture of these brave women, though. I don't know if you guys know who Lily Allen is. She is a singer. She did kind of post. She kind of piled on with all the posts about Katy Perry and these women self-importance. And so she apologized because her publicist probably told her to. But a lot of people said it was tone deaf for celebrities to take part in such a fleeting and expensive trip. Because the trip probably cost, it probably cost $37 million just to put that rocket up into space for these chicks to take an 11-minute flight. Now, I'm not saying it ain't cool. I'm not saying it ain't fun. But when they got back, they acted as if it was like some monumental thing, like a one giant step for womankind. That's basically how they treated it. And there's some controversy with that flight too. There's controversy about whether or not they actually went up. There's controversy about the photo op afterwards, about opening the door, about them maybe not even going up, but they went into the capsule to take pictures after the fact. There's a lot of shit out there. You can look it up. But bottom line, look, I don't care. These chicks can go up. Katy Perry can go up. It really doesn't matter to me. Celebrate going up, but don't. The reason why a lot of people have a problem with it, and they say it's tone deaf, It's because they act like this is some monumental thing for women and it's pushing women forward. And I'm sure they tied it to the alphabet community as well in some shape, form, or fashion to co-opt that movement. But I love these comments right here. You know, like, know that you are safe, seen, and celebrated. She said, please know I am okay. I've done a lot of work around knowing who I am, what is real, and what is important to me. I just find it so, like, we don't even need to know that. Do we need a celebrity to tell us that? Do we need her to tell us that? It'd probably be better if she just didn't say anything at all. Let people get over their anger, let people get over their whatever, and then just move on, right? Oh, you know what? There we go. But there's no need to go on there because all it does is invite more people to be like, okay, you think you're more important than you really are. It's so interesting to me. It's like, yeah, in 3-star, yeah, we could do it if we had our money, right? Johnny Reno's in the house. What's up, Johnny? Yeah, Todd C. Billionaire wanted to take a sub down the ocean just to see a shipwreck through a monitor. Right. Of course, we saw how one of those subs ended up. Right? I just think it's interesting that the sense of self-importance, I guess. Right? But I'm not going to say any of us wouldn't be trapped in that with fame and or money. Right? So I get it. I just think it's a little ridiculous that this 11-minute flight where they barely passed over the line that goes into space. Like there's a line, it's got a name. You guys might know it. But they just went over it and came back down. 11 minutes. That's nothing, man. Pop, I'm pretty sure if you swap spots with Katie, you'd be bringing up your flight into Space Stream for years on end. Hey, you might be right. That's true. Ronnie Trickshot's in the house too. What's up, Ronnie? Yeah, you might be right. I might hold that over everybody's head. You know, I went to space. I went to space. Na 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 na. Yeah, like suckers. You're probably right, Todd. That's what's sad about it. I'd be the one guy. I'd be that guy that it's like, you know, you go to the bar, right? You just sitting beside somebody you don't know, and you're like, so did I ever tell you about the time I went to space? Man, that trip was wild, dude. On the way back down, we didn't know if we was going to make it. We had no idea. We were gone for 11 minutes. It was nuts. long enough for a remix of a Katy Perry song. How life-changing it was. Yeah, it was. It changed my life. Of course, if I didn't have that kind of money, right, then it really wouldn't be life-changing, right? Like, it would be like, oh, here I am, back in gravity. Yay. Then I'd spend the rest of my days seeking out that immortal treasure of being in zero gravity for the rest of my life. I could. If I was on that ship with a bunch of dudes, you know what? Any guy would not come back talking about how empowering it was. You know what they'd be doing? They'd be smashing beers, right? They'd be doing shots. They'd be high-fiving, and they'd be like, fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! We just did that! We just did that! It'd be just like a WNBA player after a basket. Anyway, so I did notice Mexico's president says she rejected Trump's plan to send U.S. troops across the border. Now, I think this is a terrible decision. Now, some may say, well, they don't need any help. Okay, folks, here's the deal. Crow, you're in Canada. And I don't know if Crow's back or not. He'd go red leader, green leader, probably disappeared. But here's the deal. Canada rejecting an offer to have American troops. makes total sense. Okay? Mexico saying, nah, bruh, we got this, makes no sense at all. Because I think we all know they got some real problems down there, right? They got some problems down there. And I just loved, when I saw this headline, the first thing that popped in my head was like, yeah, no, you do need help. But because you're so stubborn, and I get it, if it's a tariff thing, right? Everybody's got their reasons. But I think this is extremely short-sighted. I really do. And you're right, Johnny. Cartel does own her. And as they own the police departments and every other investigative body down there, which becomes our problem. Unfortunately, we can't just decide to do that. Like, just go in there. That's not going to happen. I think it's hyperbole if somebody says that it would without permission, without, whatever. But, come on, man. We're talking about Mexico. If anybody thinks Mexico's doing all right these days, they need some help. They need a lot of help. It says here that Mexican president Claudia Wait a minute. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Just indulge me for a minute. Mexican president Claudia Sheinbaum. What? Sheinbaum? Mexico? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. I did not know her name until right now. This is fascinating. I can't say it. Can I say it on YouTube? Can I say? Is this a Jewish president in Mexico? Like, I'm lost right now. I'm totally lost. This is fascinating. I had no idea. No freaking idea. And, yeah, you are right. Johnny, you were right about the Arizona governor, too. That is, wow. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Now somebody's going to go make a video about me tomorrow being a something or other. Anyway, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said on Saturday that U.S. President Donald Trump proposed sending American troops into Mexico to help her administration fight drug trafficking, but that she dropped it. She dropped it. Sorry, 3-star. I was reading your comment at the same time. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't help it. I'm shocked. I really, truly am. She rejected it. Her remarks to supporters in eastern Mexico came in response to a Wall Street Journal article published the day before. She had a tense phone call with Trump. Trump reportedly pressured her to accept a bigger role for the U.S. military in combating drug cartels. What is... Okay, I'm still trying to connect the dots here, folks. Yeah, Johnny Reno, right. Yeah, that's the next video. All right, yeah, check it out tomorrow. Somebody's going to get something off their chest tomorrow. 3-star draw says maybe it was Sheinbaum and she dropped the S. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay, this is gonna take me a sec. I'm sorry, I truly am. This is... Okay, here we go. Turk Murphy's Toy Solutions is the shiznit. What's going on, buddy? Good to see Turk in his house. I would assume you're correct, 3-star. I would assume that you are correct. They're not all Catholic, obviously. But anyway, okay. Number one, Trump pressured her to accept a bigger role from the U.S. military. But they said, no, we don't want your help in these drug cartels, even though they desperately need our help, someone's help, because they can't handle it themselves. So she says, quote, he said, how can we help you fight drug trafficking? I propose that the United States military come in and help you. And you know what I said to him? No, President Trump. Unquote. Stunning and brave, Claudia Scheinbaum. Ladies and gentlemen, stunning and brave. She added, sovereignty is not for sale. What does she think's gonna happen? Does she think we're gonna like go in and like take over? Or, you know, this is, I'm sure it was definitely, as she says, sovereignty not for sale. Sovereignty is loved and defended. As Woody Triple Deuce drops up in here, says, yo, homies. So, what's up, buddy? I would have loved to join you guys on the same time hangout there, but it ended faster than I could get in and get home and get to my computer, man. And it looked like the Star Wars talk was, it looked like just Jeff was within his depth, but you and Punk were kind of sticking your toes in the water, and then the water was real cold. That was great. Pretty funny. Nonetheless, sovereignty is loved and defended. Okay, well, if you want to defend your country and you've got cartels running all over your police departments and all over your cities, and people are turning up in ditches and hanged and throat slit and beheaded and all that, why would you not want help in that matter? If you're that headstrong that you can combat this, then why haven't you done it already? So this comes down to one thing and one thing only, right? It's not about the cartels. It's not about the drugs. It's not about the trafficking. It's not about the illegals. It's about Trump. That's all it's about. If Biden offered assistance, I guarantee you they would have accepted it. But of course, see, Biden would not have offered assistance because he was that short-sighted. He also was not in his faculties. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is you know, it's, and this has to do with the border control, right? However, if you're Mexico and people are flooding out of your country, don't you think that you would want to know why? But you know why. So don't you think you'd want them to stay so you could have a stable economy, a stable country, you know? But no, they're okay with people flooding across the border because they're scared to death to get their heads cut off. Or people see opportunity in America because of the economy, because of the crime, because of the lackadaisical attorneys prosecuting people, right? So, of course, people would want to leave Mexico. Why wouldn't they? You know, it's twofold. But this is ridiculous. I mean, it truly is. When I read this article, I was shocked because I get it. You hate Trump. Any help on the cartel front would be welcomed, in my opinion. They need help. And by refusing it from the most powerful country in the world, it seems extremely short-sighted. I mean, look, you know, the White House has statements. The president has been crystal clear. Mexico must do more to combat these gangs and cartels. And the United States is ready to assist and expand the already close cooperation between our two countries. So, you know, it's a shame. It really is. I think just the fact that, you know, okay, my feelings are hurt because you've shut your borders down. So now I got my feelings hurt. And because of that, I'm going to be rash and unreasonable, even though I know we can't control this overwhelming problem that we have that's taken over our country. I'm going to refuse your help because of my borders. And that's a shame. It says, we can work together, but you and your territory and us and ours. I get it. I understand it. But you can't control your fucking territory. And your territory affects our territory. This isn't like in the Middle East. This isn't, so far away. We're talking about immediate shit that affects us. We're talking about immediacy. These things affect us coming from your country, which tells me that you don't want to do anything about it. I wonder why. Oh, maybe because you're getting paid by the cartels, like what was said earlier. Like Johnny Reno said. Yeah, probably so. That shit runs deep, man. That shit runs deep. But, yeah, Jeff is a Star Wars Bible, that's for sure. Anyway, I saw that headline and I just thought, how short-sighted and how ignorant do you have to be when you have a monumental issue in your country? And you're on our border. Like, it is something that we can actually help with. Well, the thing of it is, we may create the demand, but when you cut off the supply, then eventually you cut out the demand. It might not be for everybody. It might not be for all. And yes, people work their way through the drug trade and, snake their way through it. And yes, people figure out, they're survivors. They figure out, if I can't get this, I'll get this. If I can't get that, I'll get that. If I can't do this, I can't do that. But supply has, so much to do with it. Now, if we could work on the supply from our legal pharmaceutical companies, but that's a whole nother issue set aside from this one. So I'm not going to crisscross issues, but I feel you, Todd. Definitely. Hasbro's CEO had an interview talking about tariffs, talking about rapid changes. A Thursday interview with CNBC's Jim Cramer. Hasbro CEO Chris Cox explained how the toy maker is trying to diversify its supply chain and adapt to Trump's steep tariff hikes on China, one of its top suppliers. He said, we're making rapid changes. Our goal was to get to about 40% of global sourcing out of China by the end of 2026. That's great. That's a good thing. I think we'll hit that much earlier. According to Cox, Hasbro has shifted some manufacturing to countries including the US, Turkey, China, Japan, India, Vietnam, and Indonesia. So far in 2025, he said the company has relocated several hundred SKUs from China. That's where my dial tone is. My dial tone got relocated. That's my SKU. Fucking dial tone. He's lost to the abyss. He's somewhere between Indonesia and Turkey. You son of a bitch. Anyway, Chris Cox affirmed that China is always going to be an important place for us to source product. Toy making can be a labor intensive and require specialized types of labor, such as child. And Chinese manufacturers have expertise in making specific items like high-end action figures. They also dominate the market for lower-end electronics and foam swords. Whoa! Dominate the market in the foam sword category. The fuck? But over time, Cox predicted that the other sources of supply will mature and Hasbro will be able to diversify. That's what it's about. It's about diversifying your portfolio. Damn it. Says they'll be able to diversify production even in those more specialized categories. So it takes this one event to all of a sudden make all these businesses start freaking out. What are we going to do? We've had this extremely cheap child labor in China for tennis shoes and toys and, clothing for decades. I mean, since we moved our factories out of the country, right? And we outsource all this stuff now. And it's pennies on the dollar. People are getting paid. They don't make enough money to live, and have a pot to piss in. But by God, we can sell our toys and our shoes, our Nikes. Heaven forbid we have to move our factory to another Asian location where we can pay a few more pennies on the dollar. No dollars for labor, but a few more pennies on the dollar. That's what it's all about. It's about shifting that shit around. But it says Hasbro on Tuesday reported an earnings beat, but it forecasted that if Trump's 145% duty on imports continues, the company could take a $300 million hit to its bottom line. However, management was fairly optimistic its diversification strategy would help mitigate any losses. He said he expects prices to go up, but he claimed the increases might be lower than peers because of sourcing flexibility. The company also has done some padding because 50% of revenue generated in the U.S. is either domestically sourced or from experiences or digital games. So they've diversified their portfolio. Does Mattel have a games division? I don't think so, bitch. So, I think most families, when they think about a toy, they think about 10 or 20 bucks. They're not thinking about 30 or 50 or 100 like you and I, like us on this stream, right? We're thinking about 30, 50, 100, 800 for a fucking dragon or whatever, right? Like we're the ones thinking about 30, 50, 100. But he says here that the families aren't thinking about $100 toys. That's very few and far between. So we're trying to selectively keep core items, particularly giftable items, like picking up something for a birthday party, at Walgreens and a card because you forgot, at those $10 to $20 magic price points. I like magic price points. So it looks like Hasbro has been taking steps already, regardless of the tariff action, and it looks like maybe, even if they take a hit, that maybe they'll be all right. They'll be in decent shape. Let's see here. Is Frank Castle in your van? 3-star draw. And I gotta say, Johnny Reno, I get it. Foam swords? Nah, get that shit out of here. I want that high carbon steel. And maybe that Hattori Hanzo. 3-star says, might as well pay the tariffs. It moves back over here. It's all double. Okay. And I get that. However, and this is the part where we got to put away the selfish part, right? What's better for the overall health or good of a country? We all know the manufacturing jobs, right? Long gone, bring us silly, bring back these manufacturing jobs. It's always like a pipe dream. But it does create jobs. Jobs for people that maybe wouldn't have that job. So yes, I wouldn't say it would double the prices, but you get where I'm coming from. And I'm not making fun of your comment by any means, but you know what I mean. Ryan Trickshot says, I'd just like to take a moment to thank Donald Trump for the Australian election results over the weekend. Thank away, Ronnie, please. Thank away, by all means. Yeah, no dial tone. You got that right. Joe Fan 84 is in the house. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Always a pleasure. And hope you're feeling all right. Hope you're feeling all right. Always. Hang in there. Hang with me. Let's chill for a minute. Okay, you guys. Did you do Free Comic Book Day? Did any of y'all do Free Comic Book Day? Did you get that Energon Universe comic? There was 2 of them. There was a G.I. Joe one and a Transformers one. Dreadnought, never apologize. You hear me? Never. Ever apologize. So I picked up the Energon Universe comics yesterday on Free Comic Book Day here. I'm not going to say in the United States. I don't know how big that thing is, right? Is it in California? Is it in Tennessee? I really don't know. But Free Comic Book Day is a day where some of these publishers put out books. And we got the Energon Universe. It says number 1, which is curious because last year on Free Comic Book Day, we got one with Optimus Prime and Megatron like fighting each other on the cover. And I thought that was number 1. So I'm extremely confused. I'm not going to spoil anything. What I will say, however, is that the comic is good. Both comics are good. The Joe Energon Universe comic, it follows the most recent G.I. Joe comic with Clutch, if you guys have read it, and Hound. It's a pretty cool comic. And then the Transformers one gives you backstory about what happened to Megatron. If you read the Cobra Commander limited run, Cobra Law and all that stuff, they're actually really good. Johnny Reno, what are you doing? What are you doing there? You watched the movie that came out in '87. That's what you're talking about. Yeah. Ryan Trixie says the party that was viewed to be Trump sympathizers lost in the biggest landslide in history. And I hate that for you. I'm not going to lie. I truly hate that for you. Let's see here. Hey, that's awesome. Keep rolling with it. How did Megatron get away with it? How do you know? How do you know he has no arms? I thought Matthew would be in here because I figured he's been all over them comics. Megatron does get away. He does get away. With no arms. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you how he does it. It's pretty cool, though. Johnny Reno watched the Transformers the movie 10 times. Damn. 10 times. Summer 86. Yeah, that's awesome. I did not see it at the theater, if I remember correctly. I think we've got it on VHS, me and 3 Star. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, last issue on a monitor. You gotta wait. Yeah. Yeah, he does. It's not great. I mean, not the way it's done. To me, it's done, but it's cool, and it's a good comic. I love it. Let's see here. Joe Fan 84 says we got some people from my hometown church in Atlanta come visit. Haven't seen them in 20 years. That's cool. Super cool. 20 years. Holy Jesus. Did we see it at the Hickory? Was it Bell Forge or was it it was the one by the mall, wasn't it? The little small theater. Damn. Holy moly. I just remember going to see Breakin'. Me and my cousin, me and 3 Star Draw, our parents took us to see the movie Breakin' with Ozone and Turbo at a place called Cinema South. And I remember coming out of that movie, and the first thing we wanted to do was go and get some cardboard and do head spins and back spins and all that shit. I remember that. In the mall. I remember that theater too. Man, damn. How do I not remember that? Too much booze. Anyway, so I've been enjoying the Energon universe. I've been enjoying it. I think it's super cool. If you haven't picked these up, I recommend jumping into it. Wouldn't take you long to catch up. Wouldn't take you long to, it's only about 6 issues. Transformers is at 20 issues now, but the G.I. Joe one is about 6 issues, but it was pretty good stuff. Some of the artwork, take it or leave it, but yeah, I've been enjoying it. And if you're a Joe fan, you have a comic shop near you, Go see it. They're going to be selling the trades. They've already got trades out. So you can get issues 1 through whatever, on a trade. Like, I know the Energon Universe one is going to be coming out real soon. They got hardcovers and stuff like that. And so, Beat Street. Damn. Oh, wow. So, I will tell you guys, Breaking was a big one for us. Crush Groove was another big one at that time. Crush Groove was the jam. Curtis Blow, Run DMC, LL Cool J, Sheila E. Yeah, Crush Groove, that was the jam back in the day. Crush grooving, body moving. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Electric Boogaloo. I know, I feel you. Yeah, comic 50 and 52. I don't care about the crossover stuff. So 50 and 52. What are those from? 50 and 52, Joe fan. Oh, you're talking about, okay, back in the day. Yeah, I have number 50 actually sitting over across the way. I actually do. Now, I know what you're talking about. From the original run, the original Real American Hero run. Yeah, great issue. Has my boy on the front cover, if I'm not mistaken, with Roadblock and Hawk. Is it Hawk on the front? And Flint on the front cover on the tank, if I am correct. Great cover. Great cover. So I saw this story today. I got alerted about the story. And I think it's really weird. Like, I really think it's really weird. So, there's a guy named Dave Portnoy. He owns Barstool Sports. Okay? It's become a big deal. It's become a website. It's I say magazine, but whatever. It's a website. Barstool Sports. Big deal. And Dave Portnoy is the owner and founder. And he has also opened up some bars for Barstool Sports. And evidently, he was extremely angry because in Philadelphia, what you can do at his bars is you can do bottle service. Okay? You can do bottle service. Do you guys know what bottle service is? It's where you and your friends have a table, and it costs a lot of money, but you can get your own bottle of Grey Goose or your own bottle of Crown Royal. They'll sell the bottle to you. And then you have girls who will bring it over and pour it for you, and it's your own personal kind of private deal. You're not buying it by the shot or nothing like that, but it's expensive. So, there was some kids hanging out in one of the Barstool Sports bars, and one of the things about the Barstool Sports bars is that when you get bottle service, you can write anything you want on like these signs, and the chicks who bring the bottles, they'll hold the sign up and like show it around and whatever. Well, these kids in this bar evidently wrote F the Jews on a bottle service sign. And it got picked up on social media. There were videos and pictures made. Well, Dave Portnoy is Jewish. And he got extremely heated about this. And this is his quote that he made on social media. He basically said, "I'm coming for your throat." Now he's talking about these two kids and the girls who held up the sign. He said, "I've been shaking. I've been so mad for the last 2 hours. Like, I instantly got on. This is why the emergency press conference, because I was so over the top. I'm going to fucking make it my fucking mission to ruin these people. Like, I'm coming for your throat. I'm never ending. You think I'm going to put up with this shit at my bar?" Okay? Now, I don't know what spurred these kids to write F the Jews on this little board or whatever. Who knows? I don't know. But he wrote another post, and he said the 2 bottle service girls who did it have already been fired. And then he also mentioned the other 2 people that were in the incident. And he says, I'm going to come for your fucking throat unless you give me answers. So he's threatening these kids. Now, here's the deal, folks. I don't agree with what these kids wrote on the sign. I don't agree with it at all. But it is free speech. And I would defend your right to say whatever you want to say. I'm not going to agree with everything you say, but I will fight to defend that if it came down to it. I would go to bat for you on that front. I don't agree with what these guys did. I don't agree with their message. However, okay, fine. It's his bar. He wants to fire the girls who wrote the message on the little light bright thing or whatever the fuck it is. Fine. And I'm with you, Johnny Reno. That's the only Portnoy I really know of, but this guy in the last few years has blown up from Dream Theater. Yeah, the drummer. He's a badass. But I would defend the right for free speech. I don't agree with what they did, but it's their choice. So this is what Dave Portnoy is doing, and I want to see if you guys understand this, and I kind of want to get your comments on it, and I want y'all to tell me, if you're able to chat, what you think about this. So not long after his emergency video, he posted another video. He said, my initial reaction is that I'm going to fucking burn these people to the ground. Their families. And it's like, you know what? Maybe that's not the best course of action. So he can use this as a teaching moment. You know what he's doing? He is paying for the flight and travel of these 2 kids. 21-year-olds or something like that. He's flying them to Poland and paying for them to go to Auschwitz in hopes that they will learn something. So he's paying for their trip to Poland. They're going to Auschwitz to learn about the history of that camp that we all know about. And I don't know the other details about the trip. I don't know anything about whatever, but I'm curious with you guys. You know, do you accept that trip? If you're the 2 kids that wrote the on the sign, do you accept that trip knowing under the circumstances in which you're being paid to go? You're not forced to go. Nobody can force you to go. But someone is offering to pay for your trip to Poland to go to Auschwitz to teach you a lesson. Do you accept that trip? Because that's an interesting position to be in. No Time to Chat says free speech does not mean no consequences. I agree. However, you know, these kids aren't on company time, right? They're not, you know, posting this under like a company Twitter page. I mean, this is their own stuff. I'm not saying there aren't consequences, but my point being is that do you accept this trip and go to Auschwitz? Or do you tell Dave Portnoy, like, hey, nah, I'm good. Now, I had one guy at the bar today tell me, he's like, well, hell yeah, you want to pay for my trip to Poland? But then I'm like, yeah, but let me ask you a question. What if you had to go to like a seminar and then anti-Semitism training course, and like the next day you had to go do another training course, and then you see where I'm going with this? Like, so my guess is it was a couple of kids who were drunk, and they had the bottle girls right on the sign, F the Jews, because they were drunk and being goofy and whatever. But does that require a trip to Poland to teach them a lesson? I don't know. Like I said, for me, I would defend a right for free speech. I would also say that if I was one of those kids, if you want to take that trip, by all means, take the trip, right? But I think we also have to be careful that you have someone who has a lot of money, a lot of influence, a lot of media that who also said they were going to burn your family to the ground. Now, can you imagine your mom and dad have no idea you were out partying at a club? They didn't raise you any other way than like just being normal. You're drunk, you're young, we all do stupid shit, we say shit, right? And you got some rich dude that decides he wants to fucking burn your family to the ground on social media. And all of a sudden your mom and dad are getting death threats and phone calls, and the local paper's writing an article, and their parenting skills are being questioned. And you understand where I'm going with this, right? That's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing to say for someone who has a lot of money like that. It's a dangerous thing to say. No matter how upset you are, it's a dangerous thing to say. Take the trip, go to Poland, go to Auschwitz. I'd like to go to Auschwitz, but not because of like some guy sending me because he wants to teach me a lesson. I know the lesson, right? Like, I just thought it was an interesting story, for sure. Let's see here. You guys say, No Time says, I accept the trip because there's truly something greater to learn. Yeah, no, I think a trip over there would be super cool for sure. I guess the circumstances, we'll see. If we learn more about this, I may update this later on a different stream. Learn a little bit more about it. We'll see. Joe Fan 84 says, yeah, free speech has consequences, but is a right. But he has a right to do as he pleases in his business. Exactly. So I said, the girls got fired. I don't think he was there to throw the kids out. Like, he's not at his bars, right? He's opened them up in maybe a different city or different cities, but he's not like he's there hanging out in the moment. This is probably after the fact. The next day, he saw this video somebody took, and you know what I mean? But yeah, I agree, Joe Fetty has the right. Turk Murphy says, I'd accept that trip. I like World War II history, though. I do, too. Joe Fetty says, I'd accept regardless. I know how you feel, Dreadnought. I know that Zionist influence from our government. I know how you feel about that. And I respect those feelings. I do. I fully understand where you're coming from. Johnny Reno says, same here as far as the trip, World War history. Yeah, I really do. And I like Vietnam history too, Turk. I am a big fan. My son loves World War I history. He is a huge World War I fan. And that's the Great War, and that's the one nobody likes to talk about. Like, that's the one no one ever talks about. But it is fascinating, World War I. It really, truly is. No Time says they truly may not understand, which is possible, right? Again, young, dumb kids, 21, at a club, bottle service, living it up. I've done trips with friends who took me to uncomfortable situations. It wasn't malicious. It was ignorance. Does not recuse what happened. Does not recuse what happened. That's deplorable to me. Yeah, I think anybody reasonably would not have the bottle girls write that on a sign. Right? Like, no matter who it is. Because most people have common sense. Most people have sense enough. You're out, hanging out. It's, you don't need to stoke that fire. And especially in public. Right? I mean, especially if you're hanging out, having a good time. And maybe Mexico's president, Miss Scheinbaum would have an issue with that as well. I assume she would. You know what I mean? We're chest full of toys is here, hanging out. Says, are we going on a trip? I'll pack my shit right now. I know you will, homeboy. Let's see. No time to chat. I truly think some people don't understand their impact. Had friends that changed after traveling with me. Yeah, that's cool. I think a lot of people don't understand their impact. No matter what it is. No matter what it is. I also agree. Who in their right mind would spend $250 for a 25-bottle of whiskey? And there in itself, my friend, is the quandary. If you're spending that kind of money, that means that you ain't thinking straight, right? You're thinking you're going to ball out. You're on top of the world, 10 feet tall and bulletproof, right? Right. War chest, I got to tell you, if your dick is taking you into places you wouldn't even go without a gun, we need to talk, man. I know a therapist. I know a therapist. Joe Fan 84. Yeah, the main problem is people these days have no consequences, get away with too much. Yeah, I think it depends, right? Like consequences. I see a lot of people here in town that get arrested and then let go without consequences. They are very career criminals that have a very low bond and get bailed out, and then what do? They end up stealing a car, carjacking somebody. They end up, running a red light, killing someone, and then leading police on a high-speed police chase. Stuff like that, right? You see it all the time. Consequences. Consequences for sure. And yes, trying to be a best friend, not be a parent. I'm gonna tell you, Joe Fan, that's a hard thing, man. That's a hard line right there, y'all, because I am a parent. I try to talk to my son as a parent would, but I also am the every other weekend parent, and it's not the same. Like, it's not the same. When you are the every other weekend parent, you do not have the power that you wish you had. You do not have the influence. Now, do I have influence on my son? I like to think I do. I know he references me talking to his friends. I know there are things that he does not do or does do because of me, but I'm not there every day. And it sucks. I wish that wasn't the case. All these years, I wish that wasn't the case. So in that respect, I got to say, yes, there are parents that do live with their kids and treat them like a friend. I've known parents that have smoked pot with their kids. Shit like that. That's, to me, I am not a fan of that. If you do what you do, you do what you do. If you have kids and that's what you want to do, then you do that. I'm not going to tell you anything, but I will tell you that's something I do not agree with, but I know people who do it. Not a fan at all. But some people have a hard time leaving their 20s behind. It is frustrating, man. It really does suck. I'm with you, Joe Fan. It is what it is, but I'm with you. Dreadnought K6 says, when my now 99-year-old grandmother visited Israel, Jerusalem in 88, she expressed her love for Jesus verbally, and she was spit on and scolded by Israelis, saying he was a false prophet. Wow. Holy moly. And for somebody at 88, that's a pretty terrible experience, to say the least. I mean, really, that's damn. Yeah, that sucks. And I hate to hear that, man. I really hate to hear that. That's terrible. Let's see here. Just checking you guys out real quick in the chat. Okay. All right. So here's the deal, y'all. I got a lot of flack. Or not a lot of flack, man. I got some flack last week for my comments about J.K. Rowling and trans community coming after gamers and stuff like that, right? We've seen it time and time again. I'm going to say it. It's, it is what it is. So sometimes when I bring up stories and I talk about things, it's because and I think, so this stream, just so everybody's on the same page, this stream is a stream where I bring up news articles and other things, and I give my opinion on those things. This is not me stating facts. I'm not telling you that this is all factual or not. I'm taking articles. I'm giving you my opinion on them. That's what I do. If anybody's ever watched the stream before, you know that's what this is. So I'm going to give you some opinions on something that I think is quite ridiculous. Do you guys know who JoJo Siwa is? You ever heard of JoJo Siwa? She got very famous on YouTube and like social media. Very, very famous person. Tons of money. Very young. And she's 21. And a few years ago, she came out as Johnny Reno. You never heard of him. Good one there. She came out as LGBTQ plus element of P. And fine. She was used as an advocate. She was used as a poster child. She was used, and I say used because that's exactly what happened for a movement. She was used for a movement. And very loud and proud. Very loud and proud. She recently was on Big Brother in the UK. Big Brother in the UK also had Mickey Rourke. If you know who Mickey Rourke is an American actor who has really messed his face up with plastic surgery. I'm sure you guys know who Mickey Rourke is. He also did that movie, The Wrestler, a few years ago. Very, very big movie that gained a lot of attention. As well as back in the day. He was an actor. Very handsome person until he started fucking up his face. So on Big Brother, they were in a house together, and he called a cigarette the old school term for a cigarette that rhymes with rag. Might be a fag. He used that term because he was wanting a cigarette. Now, Mickey Rourke's kind of an asshole. Okay? So he knew what he was doing. He was digging. Okay? He was digging. Digging. Okay? Yes, Turk. Exactly. I've called it that before because I was around guys that's what they called it. And they didn't mean anything else other than that. That's what they meant. Well, it seems JoJo Siwa declared she's no longer a lesbian amid a flirty relationship with a male Big Brother housemate. Isn't that nice? Somebody can just flip and flop at the drop of a dime. They can just, advocate and talk shit to people on social media and tell them, hey, no, you need to believe this and you need to do that and don't you be this. And now she's decided that she's no longer a lesbian. She's I don't know what she is. Let's find out. JoJo Siwa says she's realized that she's dating a guy named Chris Hughes that she was in the house with, and she no longer claims or identifies as a lesbian. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something else. It's pretty rough here in a second. She says she had an interview during RuPaul's Drag Race UK. I know you guys are big fans. Says that she came to the realization that she was just queer. She's no longer lesbian. She said, I've just realized I'm not a lesbian. I'm queer. Okay, well, that's wonderful. She said the sense of clarity even, it came to her, and she cracked a lighthearted joke about rotating through the LGBTQ alphabet. She said, I think that's really cool. I'm switching letters, ! I've dropped the L, and I've gone to the Q, baby. That's what I love about sexuality. Straight from the mouth of a 21-year-old. Nonetheless, what's really messed up about this story and what's really so at the wrap-up party of Big Brother UK, Okay, at the wrap-up party where everybody's hanging out and you got your friends and family and everybody's toasting and they're doing their thing, right? She dumped her girlfriend. She dumped her girlfriend at the wrap-up party, who was her guest at the wrap-up party. She dumped her girlfriend, who was her guest, at the wrap-up party. Can you imagine how embarrassing? But look, I'm proud of JoJo. She's a strong, independent woman, I guess. And she's rotating through the alphabet letters. She went from an L to a Q, baby. Woo! Let's party. And you see why, like, I have trouble sometimes taking some of these stories seriously, or I have trouble taking people seriously sometimes, because if your convictions are easily swayed by sex, you can understand why people might not fully buy in to everything, right? Like, that's, I don't know. It's just me. Gorchess says, I'll never forget the time my mom lost my virginity in a dice game to a short, one-eyed Asian guy behind the Piggly Wiggly. Damn, that's a hell of a game, man. That's a hell of a game. Johnny Reno, doctor prescribed vitamin D again. Good shot of the T. Got it right, I'd say. Turk Murphy's. I want to make sure I parse through you guys' comments here. Scissor me timbers. Yeah, old girls can't stink. Maybe you got to do what you got to do. Listen, I just find it interesting. I saw this story and I thought, you know, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about JoJo Siwa. I don't care what JoJo Siwa does. But I love how for a few years it's activism. I met a guy on a fucking British television show where we were roommates for like 6 weeks with cameras on us all the time. And that's how I fell in love and went from the L to the D. I can't. Like, I truly, like, come on, man. Come on. Good God. Have you guys been watching Andor Season 2? There's 2 more weeks of Andor Season 2. And while it's hailed as one of the best shows Disney Plus has made as far as Star Wars content is concerned, it's not showing up. It's not showing up in the numbers. People are not watching. And got some numbers here to show you guys. Andor's second week viewership numbers show there's not much viewership. Andor, 29th of April, 2025. Episode 4, 54 minutes. Episode 5, 54 minutes. Episode 6, 54 minutes. A total of 162 minutes. We've got The Acolyte, episode 3, 41 minutes. Agatha All Along, episode 3, 37 minutes. If we look at these charts, see if I can get in close to this. All right. Let's show this tab. So if you guys look from April 21st to May 1st, you can look at what the top 10 is. You got Ransom Canyon, Mobland that everybody's talking about, Andor, coming in at fourth. However, if you look at the minutes watched, previous estimated minutes watched, 248 million. Estimated minutes watched, 481. Okay. The Acolyte, 210, 380, 81% drop. So Andor went from 481.3 million down to 248 million minutes watched. Agatha All Along was horrible. 321% drop. Andor is a good show. I really like it. And I honestly think you guys should check it out. You're going to have varying like degrees of whether or not you think it's worth your time or it's any good. Fully understandable. But I do think it is a worthwhile show. I think it's a good show. But I can fully understand why somebody would watch it and go, yeah, no, I'm good. This is garbage. Or it's too slow for me. I get that. If you liked Rogue One, I think you would actually like Andor. From what I hear, if you've watched the first 6 episodes and you're not crazy impressed, from what I understand, it really ramps up in the last 6 episodes. I know that's hard to say if you've been watching it and you're not digging it. But I do think it is some of the best stuff that's on Disney Plus. I do think it's some of the best stuff that is actually been put on there. It's got really good acting. Some of the writing is compelling, but it is very indulgent in its scenes. And some scenes take a really long time. A really long time. But I do believe in the show. And I think it is one of the best things they've done. I hate nobody's watching it. They spent a lot of money on this show. Let's see. There he is. Wraith Mason's in the house. Probably streaming tonight. Probably playing some Space Marines 2. Crunchyroll's good. Crunchyroll's great. Dreadnought, I'm gonna wait on the Carmelo Shiloh stuff. I was planning on next week getting into that a little bit. Bobby, I'm talking about Andor right now, and I'm not gonna do a deep dive on Andor. I just figure here with May the 4th. Talking a little bit of Star Wars, a little bit of May the 4th. So what I find crazy, and this is kind of one of those things where it's difficult for me to understand. A lot of these streaming companies, their numbers, their money, it's all a big jumble. It's all a big just like jumbled mess. And they'll tell you numbers that they have. Like, this is the #1 show across all streaming platforms. This show has 1.2 billion watch minutes. And we don't really know what the fuck that means. We don't know what that means. It used to, and I'm going to talk about that, Bobby, here in just a second. The Tales of the Underworld. But we don't know what all this mumbo jumbo really means. And so most of these streaming companies, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, or whomever, right? Max, they could tell us a bunch of numbers, tell you it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and you would not know. You wouldn't have any way to compare that. You would not know how to compare that, how to research that, right? Let's see here. Clint is 100% correct that the only number to follow with these companies is their stock price. That'll tell you everything you need to know. Rewatching Skeleton Knight in Another World. Skeleton Knight in Another World. That's interesting. I don't know that I've heard of that. So supposedly, Andor has made over $300 million in subscriber revenue for Disney Plus. More than Ahsoka and the Book of Boba Fett. So Parrot Analytics, if you guys know what Parrot Analytics is. Parrot Analytics is a way that they can look at internet chatter, good or bad, and determine how popular something is. Now, something that is everybody's dumping on and review bombing or whatever you want to call it. Everybody's talking shit about it, like Morbius or Madam Web. Parrot Analytics will tell you that at the time, it's a very popular thing. Everybody's talking about it, so it must be extremely popular. But it measures whether or not that it's just being talked about on social media. And that's what's happening with Andor. And so now you've got Disney telling you, well, Andor's a huge success. It's a huge success. It's, and to give you an idea whether or not we can find out if Andor is a huge success. Season 2 budget $290 million. $290 million to make season 2. They filmed it in the UK. And when you film in the UK, you have to fill out tax forms because you want the tax breaks. Therefore, we get to see public record that they spent almost $300 million on season 2 of Andor. And nobody's watching it. So when numbers get thrown out like, oh, Andor Season 2 has made Disney $300 million in new subscribers, I find that hard to believe when you see the Samba TV numbers and the streaming minutes that no one's watching the show, and then you see the budget. And I hate that because I do think Andor is a good show. But not everybody wants adult Star Wars. Not everybody wants, Cassian Andor, the Diego Luna, the lead character. He's very non-charismatic. He's not a lead role. He's not a leading man. I can understand somebody watching the show and saying, man, this guy, what the fuck? His role in Rogue One wasn't even that great. And he's not really a very good actor. But it's the people around him that are really fucking good. That's why I would tell you to watch it. Not because of the and I don't even know why the show's called Andor to begin with. It should be called Rise of the Rebellion or something like that. There's no reason to call this show Andor because he's honestly the least important character in the fucking show. Is season 1 and season 2. In my opinion, he's the least important. There's all these other people who are far more important to the rebellion than Andor. And they named the show after Andor. I don't understand it. And I think that's part of the reason why people aren't resonating with it. Because of him. But if it was called Rise of the Rebellion or something like that, and it was just ensemble cast and he was a part of it, but not the main part, or not the lead, I guess, I think the show would do a lot better. I really do. Because there's some great stuff in there. Great stuff. Leading up to the rebellion. All right. Did any of y'all see Revenge of the Sith in the theater? Anybody see Revenge of the Sith at the theater? It ran from last Friday to this past Friday. I did go see it with my son. And I talked about it last Sunday. And it was fun. I see the flaws in it, though. I see the flaws in the movie, and then the same flaws I saw back 20 years ago. Same flaws that with the movie now. Nothing changed. I thought maybe if I saw it again, something would change. It didn't, but I still like the movie. And it is my favorite of the 3 prequel movies. Let's see here. Joe Fan 84 said, it's about a guy that gets isekai into his game and goes through the story essentially, but he made his character a skeleton knight. Okay, cool. I'll check it out. I'll look it up, man. For sure. OP. All right. I dig it. Bobby Old says, last episode we saw of Andor, I saw Dr. Ball's cousin DJ Ball. I'm surprised when Mom Mothma was dancing, she wasn't waving a couple lightsabers like she was at a rave. Yeah, that went on for way too long. And there is a video on YouTube that is 1 hour of Mon Mothma dancing at the rave. It's 1 hour straight of her. It's just like an 8 or 9 second clip, and it loops for like 1 fucking hour. It's golden. Yeah, I wish we hadn't spent 3 episodes on the wedding. I can tell you that for sure. The droid that belongs to Andor is going to become K2SO. I think you're probably right. I may have read that because people are asking, where's K2SO? Warchest says, no, didn't go see Revenge of the Sith. No theater played it by me. Joe Fan thought it got pulled after a few days. It was out for a week, Johnny Reno. It was out for 1 week. And yeah, super slow-mo, a whole week. Yeah. But what's interesting about that is this article, Revenge of the Sith, eyes a $1 billion mark as it strikes down major global box office milestones. A week into its re-release, Episode 3 is proving to be more successful than most new films these days. The film is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year and is showing that despite the mixed reception upon its original release, which it did, it's developed quite a passionate cult of fans over the years. Now, my opinion on that is because of the slop that we've been given by Disney and Lucasfilm over the last several years since the sequel trilogy. People are looking fondly on the prequels even more so. And there are problems in the prequels. There really are some problems in the prequels. But because of the slop and the shit that we've been getting from Lucasfilm, the incompetent writing, the over-the-top social messaging that we've gotten out of Lucasfilm, and I mean garbage that we've gotten. There's a reason why Revenge of the Sith comes out, people are refreshed. Because it's Anakin and it's Obi-Wan, right? It's Padme, Bail Organa, you get the Emperor, you get Yoda, the big fight scenes at the end. All of that stuff that you remember when you went to go see it 20 years ago. Yes, the dialogue is tough, but at least it's not this.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
Right? At least it's not that. Fond memories. And God knows the toy line back then. The toys that came out in 99, 2002, 2005. Or whatever. Like those toys were selling back then. Now they made 1 million of them and it oversaturated the market, unfortunately. But by God, they still were selling toys back then. But nonetheless, yeah, it says right here, through its record-setting re-release alone, Revenge of the Sith has generated over $50 million worldwide for a 20-year-old movie. With over $30 million of that total from domestic theaters. It also managed to pass major milestones, both domestically and worldwide in the last week. Now, this is tacking on to previous. So it's a little unfair, it's a little disingenuous to say, oh, Revenge of the Sith, it's blowing past, it's cruising past mark, because it gets a re-release. Right? It says, thanks to re-release, past the 400 million mark domestically, $900 million dollar mark worldwide. Can it pass the 1 billion mark globally? We'll see. I mean, unfortunately, even though, this article came out, I don't know, a couple days ago, since the movie's been pulled, it's not going to. I think it is a little unfair to, bring it back out, re-release it, let it inch up the movie, make a little more money. But it was fun to see it on the big screen again. That was actually super cool. And when they do this, I would encourage anybody, go see it. Like, if you can, like, when they did Empire Strikes Back, or they, Return of the Jedi, or Star Wars or whatever, like, go see it back in the theater again. I mean, it's a lot of fun to do that. It's just hard because at this point in our lives, we've seen these movies a million times, right? Like, a million freaking times. And so it is hard sometimes, but it was fun. It was fun. But yeah, I mean, trying to go for, hit a billion worldwide. I mean, it didn't hit that back in the day. Now, adjusted for inflation, those numbers may look differently, right? But I think it shows you that $50 million, I think it shows you that a lot of people, they're wanting that. Like, that's the Star Wars they're wanting. And they're not getting it. They're not getting it on Disney Plus. But it's not bringing in subscribers. Let's not kid ourselves. Like, we're not, it's not a, Andor isn't blowing the doors off, like I said. And it's a shame. But Star Wars is in a rough place. Now, I will give you my Tales of the Underworld that just came up today, if I'm not mistaken. Season 2. Or let's see, Season 1. Yep. All right, Season 1. Overview. So, Tales of the Underworld are short form episodes. They're about 17 minutes, 16 minutes. All right? The first 3 episodes follow Asajj Ventress. And it has some canon shit in it from the EU that they took from the EU, which I thought was interesting. And it's pretty good. I'm not going to spoil it. She stumbles across a young Jedi friend. And it's a quest to help him find something. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Again, the Clone Wars animation style has come a long way. And it looks so good. It looks so good. The second 3 episodes is about Cad Bane and the origin of Cad Bane. So if you like Cad Bane as a character, or you like Asajj Ventress, you're probably going to like this show. Again, they're 16, 17-minute episodes. That's with credits. So in reality, you're looking at about 14 minutes each, roughly. Something like that. 15 minutes, 14 minutes. I liked it. I thought it was good. I love animation. I'm a huge, huge animation fan. I love the Clone Wars series. I love it. I absolutely do. I also like the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars. I have that on DVD. Totally different art style. It's the introduction of General Grievous, actually. Or it shows you what happened to Grievous, rather. And how he has the cough. Why he has the cough. And it comes from that animated movie. Very cool. Highly recommended. But I do love the Clone Wars, and I love the animated stuff. And I think that this Tales of the Underworld, if I'm gonna tell you guys, if I had my druthers, I want Star Wars to go in more of this direction, an animated direction. I don't know that I need live action Star Wars, because I feel like they're able to capture the essence of Star Wars in animated form better right now than they're able to do it in live action. And I think that you can do things in animation that you can't do in live action. So it's either Bring us back to practical effects. If you're going to do live action, bring us back to practical effects. We don't need overly extensive crawls or explanations. We need simple stories. Or bring me animation. That's bring me the animation. I love most of the Star Wars animated stuff. I love the stuff they did with Count Dooku. I love Star Wars Tales of the Empire. I love Star Wars Visions. I thought that was very good, save for a couple really super woke stories and one that's really just dumb about a band or whatever. Tales of the Jedi I thought was okay. But the animation is really good. So I'd check it out. If you guys have Disney Plus, check it out. Tales of the Underworld or Star Wars Underworld, whatever. It's really good. All right. Has anybody seen the Thunderbolts? Have you guys seen the Thunderbolts? Mr. Madgus, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, as always. Have you guys seen the Thunderbolts? I'm not going to spoil the Thunderbolts, although, if I did spoil the Thunderbolts, I guarantee you I would not be spoiling much. I can almost guarantee you could paint this movie like you would paint by numbers. Now, I'm not saying that's not good. I'm not saying it wasn't good. I'm saying that if I laid the foundation for you, I bet you could play detective and you could literally navigate your way through the plot of the Thunderbolts. Guaranteed. So, I see Mr. Magus has seen it. Johnny Reno, Thunderbirds. Thunderbolts, asterisk, by the way. Whoa, asterisk? What does that mean? I know probably most of y'all haven't gone to see it yet. I know it came out, Thursday? So you probably haven't had a chance to see it. So, non-spoiler review. Of the Thunderbolts. Right now sitting at an 88% Rotten Tomatoes score. Magus says it was very bland to me, like a TV sitcom. I can see that. I can totally see that. Dreadnought K6 says, haven't seen the trash Marvel movie since Endgame. I did hear an interesting thing today. I was watching a Red Letter Media review of Thunderbolts just a little while ago before I came on. All right. And what I found interesting is that, look, those guys are great. I love them. Sometimes I don't always agree with them. But there was something that Jay said on the video about Thunderbolts. He was talking about nerds, and he's like, 416, or it might have been Mike. But anyway, 416 accounts on Twitter are pissed off because you did this. You need to change the movie. And so they started talking about Thunderbolts, and maybe there were some reshoots or whatever, and nerds maybe got mad and changed the movie or whatever. And then he made a comment and was like, just because a couple of the movies, since Endgame haven't done that well. And I thought, no, it's not just a couple movies. Like, it's a lot of movies they've come out with since Endgame. The Marvels, Shang-Chi, Multiverse of Madness, I always forget her fucking name. Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow, that movie. Black Widow. Those movies were shit, and they didn't do well. Spider-Man did, but the rest of that trash didn't do well. So it was funny because it's like, just a couple of these movies didn't. No, a bunch of them didn't do well. So when the fans are speaking out, it's not just because they're like, you better change this, Marvel. It's because Marvel's been failing and people are fucking pissed. And they don't have the same feeling about the MCU as they did 10 years ago. 10 years ago, 8 years ago, the MCU was hype. People were all in. Couldn't wait till the next movie. Bang, 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 bang. And now it's been garbage. And it shows because people are checking out. I get it. I do. So the Thunderbolts. All right. The Thunderbolts. Is it good? Is it good? So I will tell you, I didn't hate it. That's a terrible way to start. I didn't hate it. Look, it's not a bad movie. There were parts where I was interested in the movie. Some of the characters I cared about, maybe what happened to them, or I was rooting for that character. That reminded me of what it was like when you're watching Captain America fight somebody, or Tony Stark, or whatever. It was like, okay, cool. I root for this character. Like I'm into this. I will tell you, some of the CGI is a little wonky. Power levels, now that we've been in this universe for a while, power levels have become a problem, right? Someone who doesn't have super serum in their veins that gets kicked across the room and hits 2 or 3 objects on their way to the wall and then just gets up like nothing happened. I'm not saying it hasn't happened in these movies before, but I am saying that it's starting to get like ridiculous, because then your fight scenes, there's no stakes. No one gets hurt, no harm, no foul. Brush it off, no big deal. Like we need stakes to believe the power levels. We need to understand that the Winter Soldier is more powerful than the little blonde chick in this movie, the Florence Pugh's character, Black Widow. Like we know that she doesn't have super soldier serum, but yet for some reason she gets the shit beat out of her, but she can pop right back up. Wyatt Russell, who plays U.S. Agent, he does have super soldier serum, and he's a badass in this movie. So I'm just going to run down these characters for you guys, okay? I'm just going to run these characters down. And you know what, Dreadnought? They may very well make Spider-Man gay. I don't know. Would it surprise me? Not so much. Right? But I don't know. War Chest, you're right. Unfortunately, Bucky's story in this movie doesn't make any sense to me, because we're coming out of the Captain America movie that just came out a little while ago. This is a few years after that movie took place, evidently. And Bucky's story is kind of all over the place. It's really kind of, I don't even know why he's in this movie, to be honest with you. Damn, it's hard to do without really going into spoilers, but I'm not going to do that because I do want you guys to see it. So yeah, Mr. Magus, somebody did get hurt very early. Very, very, very hurt, actually. That character. Okay, so here we go. Florence Pugh, Black Widow. She's the star of the movie. The movie focuses on her. We joked about it, me and Matthew, last Tuesday. Every review said this movie was about mental health, and it talks about how important of a subject that is, mental health. I'm sorry, but when I go see an MCU movie, the last thing I want to talk about is mental health. I don't go to MCU movies for mental health seminars. This movie this movie tackles mental health like I could tackle Adrian Peterson. This movie tackles mental health like I could tackle TJ Watt. This is like people in Hollywood were probably writing this script and they were probably jizzing all over themselves thinking, oh my God, this is so important for people with mental health issues. And they're going to go see our movie and they're going to stand up and clap and applaud us for tackling mental health. You know, it's such a subject that we got to speak our piece on this. No. You got nightmares? Great. You went through some shit when you were younger? Fucking great. Okay. This movie is not a dissertation on how to handle mental health. Okay. Lewis Pullman plays Robert Reynolds, otherwise known as Bob. He is Sentry. If you know anything about the comics, Sentry is all-powerful. He is the Superman of the Marvel Universe. So he is in this movie, and he has a very dark side. Not dark side, but a dark side, and not the Force. Geraldine Viswanathan plays Mel. Mel is such an inconsequential character in this movie. She is the assistant. Where's she at? Let's just get the whole thing here so I can get them all. There we go. She is Julia Louis-Dreyfus's assistant. Valentina is her boss. Inconsequential character. Wyatt Russell has probably the best character in the whole movie. He's probably the best actor in the whole movie, and he gets shit on all the time because he's a fucking guy. And when I say he gets shit on all the time, when you watch this movie, you're going to notice he gets shit on all the time. And his dark dream, his fear or his worst memory that gets brought out is the fact that he was supposed to be watching his baby who's in a crib, and he's scrolling through his phone. And because of that, he's a deadbeat dad. Also, by the way, in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show on Disney Plus, his character did nothing wrong. He killed a terrorist, but they made it out like he was the bad guy when there were actual terrorists in the show killing people. And you guys famously remember at the end of it, Anthony Mackie, Falcon, he saves Freckled Jesus, the redheaded girl who's the terrorist leader. He saves her, although I think she's dying or whatever. I can't fucking remember. And he brings her over because now he understands her pain and understands why she was a terrorist. So he could relate to her and understand why she was killing people with bombs. And then that's when he makes the famous statement, "Do better, Senator." Remember the do better phrase? Everybody had the do better phrase. So anyway, Wyatt Russell, though, U.S. agent, he was Captain America at the time. He killed a terrorist, and then he was shamed. They stripped him of all his medals. They took away his pension. He was a decorated hero. Thanks, Marvel. Of course, it is, the comics, it is what it is. David Harbour, he plays the Red Guardian or whatever. He is the comic relief, but his character is a slob, and unfortunately, he's portrayed in this way, but he wasn't that way in the Black Widow movie, but for some reason he is now. It's really weird. But he's comic relief. And then you get Bucky Barnes. Bucky Barnes obviously is Sebastian Stan. He doesn't even need to be in this movie. He really is. He doesn't need to be in this movie. I think that overall, this team of New Avengers, Thunderbolts, do you guys think that the New Avengers would have, let's see, a Russian assassin, a Russian super soldier from Cold War era or beyond, it would have the Winter Soldier, who is a member of the United States government at this time. Then we have, where's she at? Hang on. Ghost. Do you guys remember the Ghost character? I bet you don't. I bet you don't remember the Ghost character. Ghost was in the Ant-Man movie. Like the second Ant-Man movie, I think. Not the Quantum Mania or whatever the fuck. She's the one who has to wear a special suit so she can disappear and reappear within space-time continuum or some Star Trek shit. She's in this movie too. And she's just a straight-up criminal, actually. But she's a new Avenger, right? Like, so this team makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. But the movie itself, it has entertaining parts. Some of its themes are a little nonsensical. The beginning of the movie takes way too long. Way too long. And the end of the movie is a very dissatisfactory ending. Or unsatisfactory ending, I should say. It really is. There are post-credit scenes. I'm not going to spoil those for you if you go see it. Next week, I'll maybe talk spoilers and give you my opinions about some of these scenes and stuff like that. Yeah, you know, Ghost, cool character. Yeah, they played around with that. You know, they she is a murderer. They decide to make her more of a when they brought her into the Ant-Man universe and they decide, or that world, right? That's the way they went with it. And no, I couldn't tackle any of those guys. You know, Bobby Gold says that is sad that Wakanda have a deactivation button on Bucky's arm, but being Disney Marvel, I'm surprised they didn't make it more slapstick like the clapper. That I'm surprised too, because unfortunately in this movie there are serious scenes. There is some good acting, but unfortunately it's also broken up by Marvel having to stick a joke in there. They can never take you somewhere and focus on the seriousness of a scene that's being done really well. It has to be broken up. There's got to be a joke in there. Someone has to be made fun of. A man has to be told he's an idiot. It just is. That's what happens. Multiple times in this movie, that's for sure. I do love that, Mr. Magus. Somebody got hurt very early on. Yeah, somebody did get really hurt early on. It's pretty funny. How come Captain America didn't take Bucky back with him? I bet Bucky would love to live out his life in the era he knew. Yeah, right. Or I got a better one for you, Bobby. Why did he not pass the shield down to Bucky? Taskmaster character, yes, the Task Manager character is what they turned this character into, the Task Manager. Cool character. It's obviously a guy in the suit, but when the mask comes off, they show a woman's head. But when you watch the character in the movies, it's obviously a dude in there. And in that Black Widow movie, actually, you can see the junk. You can see the package on the actor in the suit. You could literally see the package. And then the mask like comes off and it's this chick. It tells me everything I need to know about Marvel. But I would say if you're going to go see it, I'm going to give you two ways to do it. Either go see a matinee or sail the high seas, folks. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. Do not pay full price. Mr. Magus, if you paid full price, I'm going to be really mad at you. Don't go pay full price for this movie. And also don't sounds like Michelle Obama. Damn, Dreadnought. Just coming at it. And the reason I say don't maybe go do full price or whatever is because I do think that if one sees, if you see this movie, I think you are going to be disappointed at certain parts. I think you are going to think that it's getting a little long in the tooth for certain sections. I think you're going to think it's really kind of cheesy in other moments. And I think the fight scenes, unfortunately, the power levels are all over the freaking place. Now, I will say, I do like the way that U.S. Agent reloads his gun. I will tell you that. I do like the way he reloads his gun. Dude, don't play. But overall, yeah, look, wait for streaming. Go to a matinee. Maybe a theater near you has one of those extra money off days, like a Tuesday or something. Or sail the high seas and watch it on a tablet or a phone without worry of viruses and shit like that. It's just my 2 cents. And that's okay. That's okay. So Tuesday with Matthew, we're going to get into some stuff as well. Kind of looking forward to some movies coming up here really, really soon. I can't wait. I can't wait to get into summer movie season because I want to see what Superman does very badly. Because I'm curious how Superman does coming up this summer is going to determine, I think, overall, and this was kind of one of my topics I posted, is that are people tired of the superhero movies? Are you guys tired of the superhero movies? Like, truly, like, do you get, I wouldn't even say excited anymore. Like, I didn't get, back when the MCU was humming along and you had Civil War and all that, I'm not saying I was like hyped, like, oh my God, I can't wait to the good. But when I would go to the movies and I would see those movies, I'd be like, damn, that was a good movie. You know, when I'm saying even Age of Ultron, when I look back on it and I look at Age of Ultron and I think Age of Ultron wasn't that bad, if I'm saying that, then the shit we've been getting ain't worth a damn. Right? So I'm just curious, you know, another mediocre, overhyped movie. I gotta agree with you. And the whole mental health thing where they're like, oh, it tackles mental health. One of the most important hero movies of our time. You know, like, who says shit like that? Disney does. And that's the copy they gave all these fake shills out there to say on their reviews. Word for word. Johnny Reno says, I hate superhero movies. Damn. Fuck them old superheroes. Y'all can get the hell off my lawn, bitches. Yep. You too, Wonder Woman. She can't act, but she is fine as hell. Dreadnought says, yeah, until they go to a gritty, more adult-oriented, I'm done. Even then, a lot of messaging has to go away. I agree with you. And I think that's happening. This movie doesn't, it's not like that. I do think that the man bashing is still present. But I think from a messaging standpoint, I don't really think it has a lot in there. Yes, it does deal with inner demons and, like, you know, when I say mental health, I don't mean it like that. It deals with, like, hey, everybody's gone through some shit. You know, you have to kind of figure a way out of it. And a lot of times it's your friends that help you out of it. That's the message of this movie. Your friends help you out of it. Right? And so, you know, if that's as bad as it gets, I'm okay with it. And you are correct. Most people have no idea who Sentry is. So that's the other problem with the Thunderbolts. And with Marvel now. Is that this is the 36th Marvel movie. The 36th Marvel movie. So where we're at with this now is there's so much material. And that's not even including the TV shows. There's so much material now that it's hard to keep up with it all. It's hard to, you know, do the whole thing where you pin up this show and you take a piece of yarn and you draw the connection down over here and you pin that up, and then you put a picture over here and you draw the connection there, and then the connection there, and all of a sudden you have a pentagram. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. That's not, I didn't mean to say that. So my point is that there's so much material now that it's, in order for you to watch the Thunderbolts, you have got to have gone back and watched the Black Widow movie. You needed to watch the Falcon Winter Soldier show. You needed to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think is the one it was. You needed to watch WandaVision? Possibly? I'm trying to think. Who is in that? But you get what I'm saying? Like, in order for you to understand what's happening moving forward now, you have had to have watched this, and this for it to make sense. And that is a problem, because most people now haven't watched those shows. They don't know about the characters. They don't know what has happened. The multiverse stuff, all that shit. A lot of people haven't watched that stuff. So if you're enticing people to come see your new movies and they're based off of, well, you had to have watched this to understand what's going on here, and you had to watch this, that's a problem. Now, the MCU, yes, when those movies were coming out, they were connecting stuff. But that was before Disney Plus, so it was only in the movies, and everybody was seeing the movies. But now, you start throwing in this Disney Plus shit people don't care about, and now when they go to see something, they have trouble keeping up or understanding, or, hey, who is that character? So like you said, Mr. Magus with Sentry, a lot of people, you're right. A lot of people don't know who the hell Sentry is. Right? No clue. And if you read the comics, you do. They didn't do a very good job of actually introducing us to Sentry as well. Did not do a very good job. Bobby Wold says, I'm just tired of having the same exact plot, just different hero and villain. I'm saying villain loosely. I agree, because Disney likes making them sympathetic. I also agree, and I'm done with that. Just want a true bad guy, and that's a shame, because, right. Just think of Cruella. Remember the Cruella movie? She hates Dalmatians because they knocked her mother over a railing and she died. Every villain has to be sympathetic. The villain in this movie is a sympathetic character. You know, we don't just have good versus bad. It has to be sympathetic villains. So I agree 100%, Bobby. And that's just fear, right? That's fear. That's fear of what? I don't know. Like, not being sensitive enough to a community of some kind or other. Like, I don't know. It's fucking stupid. People tune out of that shit. We don't need the anti-hero story. We don't need, I mean, that happens here you know. Yes, Mr. Magus, you need to read the comic to know Sentry and really understand the Void. Yeah. And his origin in this, they're playing fast and loose with that. Will they add to that in subsequent movies? Secret Wars, Doomsday? I don't know. I really don't know. And yes, there are evil people in this world. Unfortunately, it seems that it's not, you can't do that in movies now, or you can't do that with Marvel now. You know, you can't just have bad people for the sake of being bad, right? They have to be sympathetic. They have to, you know, because you have to have your Tumblr fan fiction, so people can write their comics and their fan fiction about how so-and-so can be saved, you know. It really is. And it's a shame, too, because, yes, there are very bad people in this world. Extremely shitty people in this world. It's life. And we're adults. Now, doesn't mean you can't take kids to an MCU movie. Of course not. But children also need to understand there's just bad people in this world. Do you guys think Thanos was a great villain? Because even Thanos was like, half of this planet needs to die. Right? Because, and that's just his belief system, right? He didn't take pleasure in it. He didn't hate it. It was what it was, right? To balance the population, to balance the galaxy, or to balance the universe, whatever it is. He had a mission, and, you know, was he a sympathetic character? What was he, you know, did they do that to Thanos in the movies? He wasn't just pure evil, right? He had a method to his madness. So I don't know. Even Thanos, that may very well have been done. And Mr. Magus says it was done for the greater good. Well, and your previous comment, sometimes things are done for the greater good, right? No, and of course, everybody can have their reasoning, right? And even a Thanos could have his reasoning, which is this is for the greater good. I don't take pleasure in this, right? But, I get it. Some people want more to their villains. Some people just want somebody who's bad, and they do bad things for bad reasons. And there are people out there that do those things. I don't think sometimes we need the most complex villain. But I think they could have done Sentry much better in this movie, without a doubt. Could have done it much better. All right, let's round third base. Let's round third base, and let's start bringing it home with a couple memes, and let's watch some Zegler memes too. I did have 1990s comedy with the 2020s reality. I remember Jim Carrey. This is so stupid. Mad TV. 90s comedy versus 2020s reality. Gotta love it. All right. Let's see here. What do we got? Okay, all right. Let me adjust my settings real quick here. Let's see here. Mic volume, installation. All right. All right. Let's take a watch at some of these goofy videos, y'all, just for fun, before we get out of here for the night. I've gotten so many of these, I can't even begin to keep up with them at this point. Newest Jedi picture? I don't know. I do have this Jedi picture, but that's not the newest one, I'm sure. Okay, here we go. Let's have a little fun with this. I think this is so stupid.
Just get spit right out of them. You just drop in and just smack the lip. Whoop-ah! Drop down. Snap. Ah! Oh, bro, it's just like, dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude. Just like you pull in and you just get spit right out of them. You just drop in and just smack the lip. Whoop-ah! Drop down. Snap. Ah! Oh, bro,
all right,
it's just
how
like,
about this one
dude,
here?
Julio Bang Julio. He will be an albino and a gringo. I am Corn Julio. You will name your baby Bang Julio. Is he an albino? Julio Bang Julio. He will be an albino and a gringo.
shit is ridiculous. I don't know who it is that's making this shit, but it is absolutely crushing the internet.
Tomado, ebrio.
¿Y qué? No he chocado.
Pero puede chocar.
¿Y mis 50,000 pesos que traía 100 billetes de a 500? Son
¿A qué se dedica usted? ¿Qué hace?
Soy comerciante. Soy de promotora mexicana Gaitán. Calle 6630, 671, 3333. Soy hijo del papá. O sea, soy hijo del dueño de Miguel Ángel Gaitán Uribe, presidente de la Canaca.
Can't. Oh, God. Oh, God damn it. Okay, look at this face only a mother could love.
Except for one little problem. That little guy right there. He is nipple number 5. A good dairy cow should have like 4. They're pretty good. Except for one little problem.
Oh my God damn. Oh my God. Oh. It's so stupid. And I get it. I totally can get it. Mr. Magus, I fully understand. It's the whatever the tech is that they're using for this. I would love to find out. But it's never ending. This is never ending. It's never going to end. This is going to be like they're going to find every movie quote possible for Rachel Zegler, like every quote possible, and they're gonna turn it into that shit. The mustard and biscuits one, that one's great. That's really good stuff. No, not Star and Wars. I was trying to think if I showed you guys. See if I can find it. Try to finish up with one thing before we get out of here. Come on, baby. Have you guys seen Star Wars Theory's Vader Episode 2 trailer? He is doing animated. We may have watched it. Let's see. Cash App. Oh, Prime Video. Okay. Anyway, Star Wars Theory did a live action. Shit, I don't know. Have you guys seen that? His live action Vader Episode 1. Have you guys seen that before? Johnny Reno says, yep. Because he's got Episode 2 coming out. If you haven't seen Episode 1, it's pretty cool for a fan film called Shards of the Past. It's about 16 minutes long. It's got 30 million views. He had to sign an agreement with Disney that he could not monetize that film. 30 million views. He couldn't make a dime off of it on YouTube. Not a dime. But he is doing Episode 2, and he's doing it in animation. And it looks cool as shit. So I tell you what, we'll watch this before we get out of here. So you guys can check this out, and then we'll bust a move out of here for the night. Let y'all get back to your regularly scheduled programming. All right, let's do it. Dude is spending like $1 million on that thing. It's pretty wild. $1 million to make an animated, I don't even know if it's a short film. God knows. If it's like 15 minutes, it costs $1 million. That's how we find out why this crap costs so much. You know what I mean? Like when you read the budget on some shit, you're like, oh, it's $280 million. And it's like, because 15 minutes of a show costs $1 million to produce. Like, come on. Freaking insane. Yeah, it looks super cool. Super cool. So I can't wait. I can't wait to check it out. Can't remember when it comes out exactly. If it's this year. Fall of 2025. There you go. So that'll be fun. And I'm sure we'll probably watch it when it comes out. All right. I'll tell you what. Let's wrap it up, y'all. Hope y'all have had a good weekend. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it, as always. Not as controversial this week. My God. Damn. All right. Keep it coming, Zelda. There's always time. There's always more weeks ahead. But anyway, no, I do appreciate you guys hanging out for a little while with me, shooting the shit. And I will be in with Matthew on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. 3-Star Draw has his May, The Power of the Force video going up tomorrow morning. And you guys check that out. It'll be up, probably be in your feed. And then I know he's on Wednesday with Krusty Old Crow for Backyard Battlefield. So, and then I'll be back after Tuesday. I'll be back Sunday. So, appreciate you guys, man. Definitely. Y'all go do your thing, hang out. Really appreciate it. Love you guys. And we'll do it again in a couple days. Y'all have a good night.